Well, they said it wouldn't happen, but here we are. It is the return of Coach's Corner for the 2021-2022 academic year here at Midway University. I remain Joe Krupinski, the head men's basketball coach here at Midway, joined by this. You guys wanted a co-host, another co-host. I don't blame you. And we have searched far and wide. We did a national search. And as how most national searches end, we went right down the hall and we asked Tim Walls, our men's soccer coach, to join us as our permanent co-host for Coach's Corner this year. Coach, really appreciate it. Welcome officially to Coach's Corner.
I appreciate it. I don't know why I'm being punished. Not sure what I did wrong, but here I am anyway. And I guess we'll have some fun with it.
Your episode last year, back when we did episodes last year, your episode was probably the highest rated episode we had in the ratings book. I don't know where that book is, but we found one, and you had the highest rate. So by default, the reward for good work is more work, and here you are.
Yeah, right.
I appreciate you coming on. We badgered Dylan into doing another episode. We're going to try to do it a little more frequently here this year to try to keep up with everybody here at Midway. And I know it's been a busy start to the year, start to the fall season for the teams around here. In a little bit, we're going to hear from Coach Dan Davis, our brand new head coach of our brand new sport here, sprint football at Midway University. We'll get into that a little bit about him. But for the sports that are playing right now, it's been a pretty decent fall so far. Why don't we start with your team since you're here? How's it been going on the pitch?
This has been a fun year for us. We have the largest roster we've ever had. We carry about 50 players, a little bit more than that. We're off to the best start we've had. We're 6-4. Two of our losses have come to top 25 teams in the country on the road. Two of them were top 25 teams around the road. The other two were conference games. But we have a couple games left. We need to win 2 to get into the conference tournament for the first time in 3 years, which is nice. But I got a great group of kids. They're a lot of fun to be around. Even my reserves are fun to watch. And, they're into a big stretch now. I think we play today at home, play Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So a lot of games for the reserves. So. But there's a lot of kids. So, I want to give as many kids as I can. And to be honest with you, it's the best way to evaluate a young player is to see them in a game situation. So the more games we play, the better off it is for us. But I'm excited about it. We got coming down the stretch here, and I'm excited about things. This is the most fun I've had in a long time.
That's great. As I told Dylan, we can't really recap 7 weeks in 10 minutes here, but some of the highlights of the fall so far. Men's and women's golf both won the fall preview in the River States Conference, so they're off to another customary great start. They're both coming off conference titles last year. We've had again your team women's swimming beat Union the other day. That was a good win for them. They're off to a decent start. Women's volleyball, which I think we still have here. They still haven't been on the show, so I don't know. I don't pay much attention to their games, but from what I hear, from what Dylan tells me, they're off to they're right in the mix for hopefully winning our side of the conference. They're 13-2 overall, 7-2 in the league, and I believe if they win if they win out, they'd host the conference tournament. So that would be really exciting.
And I tell you what, that atmosphere at those volleyball games
it's been great. It's been great.
It's a lot of fun to be a part of that volleyball program right now. Yep.
I think the return to we've had a return to fans. We've opened up the campus a little more this year than was last year. Obviously, last year in the fall we had, it was just the campus community. This year we've had other outside people and visitors come in, and I think that really has added to that for sure. And then cross country is doing off to a good start. Jacob Kositz, Vermont's own, has been smashing school records left and right, and they're off to a great start. So there's been certainly some success in the fall.
Yeah, couldn't be a more deserving kid either, man.
No, he's a
fantastic kid, fantastic person to be around. You just like talking to him. He's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah,
he's a kid you're cheering for all the time.
I think it's that maple syrup. That's what really makes it. That's what I understand. So I think that's what they gave it. That's what I think I heard that they had the Boston Marathon on Monday this year, this past Monday, and I think the winner had maple syrup the night before. I can't confirm that, but I think that was. I think I read that somewhere. So that it's been a pretty good fall here. Again, we've been pretty back to normal at school. Classes are rolling on. We're all in person, and that's been a nice thing to see. We haven't, knock on wood, had a ton of disruption yet. I know you guys did it on the other side of it this past weekend with Ohio Christian, where we had
Right.
some games postponed due to COVID. But overall, I think it's been a pretty, quote unquote, as normal as a possible year as it's been so.
Yeah, the women's soccer program too, heading down the stretch too. I think there are a couple wins from getting into the conference tournament as well. So
Yep.
depending on how things go their way, they could end up with a pretty decent little season here too.
Excellent. And the other thing we are going to do here, hopefully soon, is we have a host of new coaches. Coach Adam Malik joined us with tennis, and Crystal Camuse joined us over the summer in softball. I might be missing somebody, but Coach Davis. So it's been a lot of excitement in the department. People coming in and.
Did we talk about Coach Shea with the archery yet?
Coach Shea, well, he was coaching them up last year in the spring, so
Okay.
I don't know if we can consider him new, but yeah, we'll try to get everybody up to speed here in the next few weeks as we head in, through the end of the fall season. But coming up on our next segment, as promised, Dan Davis, the brand new sprint football coach here at Midway. We're going to talk a little bit about a new sport that's probably not all that familiar to a lot of our viewers. But something that's going to be, I think, a really good thing for the school. So we'll be right back with Dan Davis here on the corner. All right, welcome back to our first Coach's Corner segment of the semester. As promised, here in segment 2, it is Coach Dan Davis, the brand new sprint football coach here at Midway University. Coach, welcome to Coach's Corner.
Thank you. Glad to be here. It seems like a neat opportunity, and we're here to talk a little sprint football, hopefully.
Well, let's hope so. And I think I speak for like 99% of the people when that email came through back in the spring that we were starting sprint football. And most of our audience, I think I speak for them when I asked, what is sprint football? The first thing I think people thought of was, we're doing spring football. That's different. And then we realized it's sprint football. So some of us from the Northeast have a little bit of an idea, but for those that don't, tell us a little bit about this new sport that we're bringing to the school.
Well, it's a game that's been around since 1934. I mean, it started out with a lot of Ivy League schools and the service academies. It's been around in the East, as you said, for about 90 years now. Sprint football is the same college football you're going to find everywhere else. There's 2 goalposts here. There's a 100-yard field. There's 53 1/3 yards wide. The only difference is everybody on the team, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, quarterbacks, whatever, have to weigh in 2 days before the ball game at 178 pounds or less. So it's a very quick game, a very intense game. A lot of great football players. It's 11-man football, full out, go after each other, full pads, and there's a lot of all-state, all-region, everything ball players in sprint football. It's a very exciting and fast-paced game. I coached it in Pennsylvania, and I'm telling you, they play for keeps.
Yeah, now you've had a lot of stops in your career. We'll get to that in a minute, but one of the things I think that that is noteworthy is that you did start the sprint football program at Mansfield. So tell us a little bit about the challenges you face in starting a program and what you see are the maybe potential challenges here at Midway. Are they similar to Mansfield, et cetera?
Well, the same challenges at Mansfield are what's going to happen here in Midway. The big thing is educating people about sprint football and what it's all about. Although Mansfield is in the East in Pennsylvania, sprint football was kind of Cornell played at University of Pennsylvania, a few other teams, and it was kind of an unknown quantity. And the big thing the first couple of years was educating people about it. Now, Mansfield already had a football program before. They had a Division II program. They dropped it in 2006, and they started sprint football in 2008. So we had a stadium, we have a practice field, we already had a bunch of equipment and things like that. And that's the big challenge here at Midway, I think, is that, we don't have any of those things. We've been talking to some local area schools about playing at their stadiums, and those talks are going very, very well. We've got to put together a practice facility. We've got to buy equipment. And, in this time when there's about 75 million boats hanging off of the LA Harbor area right now, it might be tough getting some of that stuff in here, but we're on it. We're doing our best. And I think it's going to work out just great.
I have a quick question for you, Coach. My first question was, how do they come up with 178 pounds instead of like 180, 175? Where did 178 pounds come from?
Well, I think now it's just more like a wild guess. But back in the day, and when they first started the program, it was called 150-pound football because the average sized male back in the 1930s was 150 pounds, and that's all you could weigh back then is 150. And they kept moving it up a little bit, moving it up. When I coached at Mansfield, it was 172 pounds, and the same is true. I always tell people one of my legs could qualify for sprint football, and that's about it. I'm a pretty good sized guy, if you can't tell by this picture there. But maybe when I was in junior high school, I could have played sprint football. But it was 172 pounds until about 5 years ago. They moved up to this current weight of 178. And I think they just kind of look at things a little bit, and they're very they're very conservative institutions. So, even though the average male is closer to about 185, 190 now in the United States, they're still kind of keeping it down low. So 178 is what they've chosen, and what we're gonna work with. It's kind of a unique game. It's a lot like wrestling, where a lot of ball players will actually weigh 185, 190. That's their quote unquote natural weight. They'll cut the weight for the sprint football season, play the season. And you only have to be 178 on Thursday. Thursday morning, you weigh in, you hit 178, you're good. I mean, if you gain 3-4 pounds in the next couple of days and get yourself back up into the low 180s, you can still play on Saturday, but you have to hit that weight on Thursday morning at 178.
I think a lot of us can sympathize gaining weight over a 3 or 4 day period. I don't think there'd be a whole lot. I don't think you're going to be able to pull from the coaches pool, unfortunately, on the male side. But what type of players are you going after? What's your approach to building the program and getting the team together here in the fall?
Well, the way I describe sprint football is, if you look at any type of football, you've always got one or two athletes on the team that are just great football players. They're maybe a little bit undersized. They're maybe a little bit, this, that, the other, but they're so tough and they work so hard that they just stand out, even though they may be a little bit undersized. Now, a sprint football team has 60 of those guys. Every single team has 60, 70 of those on their roster. And so we're looking for those hardworking, character-driven people. We want a team of character, not characters, I guess is the best way of saying it. We're looking for great people, great students, great athletes, and guys that want to be part of something special, build a program. And we're reaching out in Kentucky and the region and trying to find those young men that have a little bit of vision and a little bit of excitement about sprint football. And so far, I think that's going pretty well. We haven't got a whole lot of what you call actual commitments yet, but we're talking to a lot of great students, and they seem very excited, very interested. We've had some visits on campus already, and I think things are clicking along pretty good, to be honest about it.
If I can ask, with the weights being 178, will you have a lot of two-way players, or will they still be one-way players?
No, we try to keep it a single platoon if we can. Everybody just plays one way. Well, the big thing for us is try to find those selfless players, because even though there are some linemen that are in the 175 to 180 range, a lot of times we have to convert other positions to offensive and defensive lines. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. I mean, if you're a great quarterback, you're still going to probably be a quarterback for us. But if you're maybe a step slow, and maybe you're still too slow to be a linebacker, then be an offensive and defensive lineman. I had my best center at Mansfield was a wide receiver in high school, and he balked a little bit about moving to the position. He was a great blocker. I mean, he did a nice job out in space blocking, and so we moved him to center. And when he graduated, he said, "Coach, that's the most fun I ever had." And I always tell people, if you really want to hit, why aren't you a lineman? Because you hit every single play. And I'm an old offensive lineman, and when people say they don't want to be an offensive lineman, that kind of digs at me a little bit, because I think offensive and defensive line are the two funnest positions in all of football. So, if you want to really hit, then be a lineman, because you hit every single play. And it's not that hitting and standing over them and looking tough type thing. I mean, you're going after each other, and the sprint football is fun because of that, I think.
I love your energy. You want me to go out and hit somebody right now?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to
I'm
go
an old offensive lineman, and I loved it, man. I love getting after people, and I think like I said, if you really want to do it, then it's a good sport. If you're a selfless player, if you want to do what's best for the team, then sprint football is a good sport to be a part of.
Well, as you mentioned about switching positions, I've been telling Dylan now for how many weeks. Dylan will be joining us later, but that University of Kentucky, they have a great running back playing quarterback right now. That guy just runs the ball. I don't know. Yeah. That's for another matter, Dylan. I know Dylan's upset about my Kentucky quarterback takes out there. But so, Coach, you mentioned Kentucky and Ohio in the area, and recruiting and whatnot, but we're part of a new conference, part of the original six, as I call it, with the Midwestern Sprint Football League. Tell us a little bit about some of the teams in the league, and do you I mean, it is kind of a geographic similar league in that sense. How about not dividing recruits up, so to speak, but is that going to be, what are the opportunities involved there in terms of recruiting a different area where the sport's just starting?
Well, what's nice about, I think, this position and where we're at here at Midway is that we've got, we're the furthest, I guess, east and south school in the league. So we've got a wide range that we can go down into Tennessee, northern Georgia, maybe even a little bit into the Carolinas and things like that. Besides Kentucky, we're also, we're only an hour and 15 minutes the most from Cincinnati and southern Ohio. So, and also southern Indiana. So we've got a very wide range of student athletes that we can recruit from. And so we're pretty excited about that. We got a natural rival. Bellarmine is starting the program over in Louisville. There's also 4 other private schools, 2 in Indiana, 2 in Missouri, 1 in Illinois, 1 in Missouri. And so it's going to be a good, solid league. And we're hoping that we could eventually put together a game between our champion and the champion from the Eastern League in like a bowl game type situation. And right now there's talks, just preliminary talks, but we're trying to make arrangements to maybe get the play at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, up there, which would be a neat little opportunity. I know one of the neat things about the Eastern League for us is that, we got to play at places like Nike Stadium at the United States Military Academy, Franklin Field, which is the oldest stadium in the country, 60,000 seats in downtown Philadelphia, where the University of Pennsylvania plays that. Back, that's the place where Vince Lombardi lost his only ever NFL championship game. He lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in 1960 at Franklin Field. And then we play at the Shelkoff Crescent up in Ithaca, New York at Cornell University. And we're going to play at some pretty nice places here in this league, but it'd be nice to maybe have an opportunity to eventually play in those type of places, and we could hopefully maybe in the future schedule some non-conference games as well as our conference schedule. But I'm pretty excited about the 6 teams in our league, including ourselves. I think we're all pretty well committed to making sure this is going to be a great success, and we're going to recruit our tails off to make sure that we have a good squad and it's a very good product on the field.
You mentioned this, and I may have missed it, but how many games are in a season?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How many games are in your season?
Well, this first season, we're going to play 7. That's the schedule. We're probably going to get to the point of playing 8 or 9 before the bowl game. Sprint football is a little unique. I kind of like it. It's like old-fashioned football to me. Our first ball game next year won't be until mid-September. I guess I'm too old. I got too much gray hair here, but it gets tiring to see football games on August 22nd or August 24th. To me, football. Back in the old days, football, you started practice, mid to late August. Your first ball game was mid to late September. You played your season, you went to your bowl game, and you moved on. And that's kind of what sprint football is going to be like, too. Our first ball game is scheduled for the weekend of September 15th next year. And so, it's going to be a fun time. Nice thing, too, about that is it's going to be a little bit cooler when the season starts in Kentucky. I know August in Kentucky can be kind of a warm time. So hopefully by mid-September, it'll cool off just a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but just a little bit, and make it a very pleasant day. Today, it's about 75, 80 out, or actually with the fog, it's not, but tomorrow it's supposed to be about 75, 80 outside. And, September and October in Kentucky is a beautiful time to be in this state.
Yeah, Midway is the San Diego of Kentucky, from what I've heard. The weather's always nice here. Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time to. I know you're really busy starting a program. It's obviously a giant commitment, a giant time commitment, so to speak, going forward. So we really appreciate you taking a few minutes here to join Coach's Corner and educate the people a little bit about sprint football. And I know we can't wait for the start of for next fall. I'm tailgating. I'm definitely tailgating for game 1. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm looking forward to that. And we'll be watching the website for when the schedule comes out and the roster, we start signing people, and we can build up some more excitement.
Well, just one hint. When you watch the game, watch the offensive and defensive lines play. I always tell people, I have parents that come up to me at Mansfield, just to end it here, is that they have trouble watching the other type of football anymore because it's just fat guys going up against each other. But in watching that offensive defensive line, they're slanting, they're moving, they're trying to hit each other. It's a pretty exciting game, and we're glad to be a part of it, and we hope to produce something special here, both on and off the field at Midway.
Outstanding. Coach Dan Davis, appreciate you taking the time. We'll be right back with the return of the people segment FaceTime with Dylan, whether you wanted it or not. We'll be back here in the corner after this. And here it is. Coach, I've been around town a little bit here, in the fall. We started practice a few weeks ago, so I've had a little more free time, less free time lately. But when we started school, the first few weeks or so, I was out around, and I had a couple people. I'm hand to God, a couple people stopped me downtown Midway, and they said, "Hey, didn't you used to do Coach's Corner?" And I said, "Yes, I used to do Coach's Corner. We used to have it." And they go, "Hey, I have to know what Dylan thinks about some of the fall TV previews." And I told him, well, it's really up to Dylan if we get the show back. And sure enough, here we are. It's FaceTime with Dylan, first time in the school year. Dylan, welcome back to Coach's Corner.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I apologize for the delay. I was reminded numerous times that I did make a promise last year at the Midways to bring back Coach's Corner. So I apologize for the lateness, but here we are. Well, we're going to hopefully return this thing back to a normal show.
Yeah, the only reason we had any show at all is we had it on film. He couldn't deny that he had said it. He had it on film. So
yeah, that was the only reason.
We are bad. Dylan, why don't you give us a quick, since we haven't heard from you since December, give us a quick update on what's been happening, in your neck of the woods and, with sports information. I know we had a big switch to Presto stats this year. Talk about the streaming aspect that we're having here on campus. What are some things that the fans might want to know as they want to follow the Eagles here the rest of the year?
We did change to Presto stats. That was a challenge at first, but now that I've learned the system and kind of know it a little bit better, it's that transition has been a lot smoother. Still looking forward to basketball season, how that's going to work out, and then baseball season and softball season in the spring. So we got that to look forward to. Then we're also trying to make enhancements to the live stream. I'm trying to do that. If I could ever get the huddle camera and the computer to work on the same night, it might actually work out well. You never know. I tried so hard to get the huddle camera. I got the huddle camera now, and I can't get the computer right. So we're doing what we can there.
Well, Dylan is the IT department here in athletics. So if you can't figure it out, I don't think any of us can.
The mobile IT department.
He's not coming to me and you to ask any questions. That's for sure.
That's right. All right. Well, we got a few questions here for FaceTime with Dylan. We had we put the call out, the bat signal out, so to speak, on the HON text line, and we got a few. Dylan, what's that number again? If people want to get in their questions for future episodes,
that number is 859-846-5327.
Or what if I'm a user of the Twitter? What if I want to tweet you?
The Twitter machine. You can tweet at Go Midway Eagles and use the hashtag Coach's Corner.
Oh, okay. The hashtag
at us. I can't see it if you don't tweet at us. You got to tweet it at us. So.
Oh, right.
All right. Well, that sounds very aggressive, but okay. We had a few questions. Now, I want to apologize to Eleanor in Idaho, who's back. Eleanor in Idaho is back. She had a question for Coach Davis. We just got the questions now, so we missed the segment with Coach. And for Kyle from the CSFL Hub, which is the #1 source of Sprint football coverage.
Yep.
We really appreciate what he's doing. I might guess it's the only source, but it probably is the best one. He's done it. I know I've read some of his stuff on Twitter. He does a really good job covering Sprint football. So they had some questions for Coach Davis. Hopefully we got their questions in anyway. We apologize for that. And hopefully they're still watching this segment so that they know that I apologize. We'll open this up to Coach Walls too, because he's already experienced one of these. Of Craig in Iowa, who I think is Craig in the car today, right, from Iowa. And he asked he wanted to know what Coach Davis's favorite tailgate food is. So we didn't get to ask him that, but Coach Walls, you've already had at least one tailgate down there at soccer. What are some of the fare that fans can look forward to when they go to a tailgate?
Well, it's fun for us because we have international players on our team, and they do a really good job of trying to get the different international foods in and at least trying and experimenting. But I'm like Coach said, I'm old school, man. Give me the hot dogs and the brats and the hamburgers and stuff like that. That's what just the smell of that on a charcoal grill, with people yelling, throwing football around. I can't wait for it to come. I think it's going to be fan. This campus is going to get lit up, man. It's going to be fun.
I didn't put this together. We had both football coaches on at once.
Yeah. There you go.
I should have put that together.
Yeah.
Another question from Craig in Iowa, which I know I've been asking this myself. Question for the SID. Any
Who's
chance?
that guy? Wait, who's the SID? Who's that guy?
Well, he doesn't put it by name, but any chance we have game day programs will be made available for outdoor sports this year? So I put it to you, Dylan. Any chance?
I don't know. We maybe we'll
that was fence sitting at its finest there.
That was.
I will put that as a maybe.
Definitely maybe. Definitely maybe.
Joe, you have a great idea with the brown barrel.
So Brown Barrel is one of our big sponsors here of athletics and of the school in general.
Great food.
Right down there does a great job. If you're in Midway before the game, after the game, that's where you want to go.
Yep.
My idea was when you go out to the soccer field, we're going to put an actual barrel out there, and it's going to be the Dylan Brown barrel. And that's what you would go with, and the programs would be in the barrel. You'd lift up the lid, you get the program, you get advertising for the Brown Barrel, you get your program. I mean, who says no to that?
Yeah.
I guess Dylan.
That's a fantastic idea.
Great idea.
Fantastic idea.
Well, I don't know. I can only do so much over here, JP. I mean, I'm trying to help you out, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get Tim Culver on later in the year again, and he can explain why that can't happen.
We'll pitch that idea to Tim.
But I like that idea. We've been trying to get Dylan to maybe put some word searches or something on the back of the programs. Volleyball. It's just a blank sheet right now. So I mean, maybe a crossword, something that would get people, get the fans into it.
Yeah, something.
Craig,
you mentioned maybe a Sudoku.
Sudoku. I mean, I haven't something to keep people entertained between sets. But I'm still waiting.
Yep.
Love it. That's fantastic.
We got, and this question literally, I was on my phone here. My phone. I just got a text from Okie in Oklahoma. And he would like to know. He would like to know Dylan's reality TV picks for the fall. So, Dylan, what do we look for? What do we look forward to in the reality TV circuit? That's kind of your expertise.
Well, I'd say one of them is going to be, and no one's going to believe me whenever I tell you this, but I promise you, whenever I tell you, I have not been watching any reality TV. Like they just finished like a half of a season of The Bachelorette. I don't even know what happened. So I swear, see Joe shaking his head because
I don't believe you.
Because you don't believe me.
Tim, do you believe that? I don't believe that.
Nope. No
I
way.
don't believe it. And second of all, I don't believe that you'd let down the public like that. I mean, how are any of us supposed to know what's going on? We're not going to watch it.
So,
you watch it so we don't have to.
So they are splitting up. They did two different girls on The Bachelorette. So they did one for half of a season, then another one for another half of a season. And as far as I know, the other one, the first one that she's finished up, she's found a guy, I think.
So what I'm hearing is Dylan does in fact know what's going on. That's what I'm hearing. He just like not 30 seconds ago he said he didn't know anything about it, and now he's telling us all about the production value.
Well, I that's the only thing I remember. That's the only thing I remember.
He subscribes to the magazines, is what it does.
Maybe that's
no, I don't subscribe to the magazines. No.
Yeah, see, Dylan, I need your help on this because this is how I communicate with my daughters. Is I listen to you, and it helps my relationship with my daughters. So
you're doing a valuable service here, Dylan.
I've got to step up my game here. I've got to step up my game, and I'll and next coach's corner we have, who knows, that might be in 2024 at our pace. So I promise I'll have a reality TV update by then. So, but I will say, All American. Check out All American. That's a good show. It's not reality TV, but it's a good TV show. So,
what's that about?
It's about
where can we find that?
On the CW channel. The CW.
Is that still available?
That is.
Let me get my rabbit ears out and watch the CW. What are you talking about?
That you gotta move the antennas and then you gotta make it work to get the signal just right.
Wow. Old school cable TV is what it
is.
I guess so,
cable TV right there.
That's great.
All right,
Well,
Dylan.
yeah, that's kind of, I think we're out of questions, but I got to tell you, Coach Walls, for your first time as a host, Dylan, I thought that was a pretty good show.
Oh yeah, it's a good show. It's a pretty good show, I think. I think it's our best one of season 3 so far.
Good. There you go.
I would put it in the top couple for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
It definitely was better than lemon juice in the eye, so it's okay.
So there's that. What do we got coming up this week in the Eagle Empire, Dylan?
This week is let's see, both
A lot of
soccer
reserve. We heard a lot of reserve soccer.
lot of reserve soccer. We've got men and women's soccer on the road, a big one on Thursday. Chance for men's soccer to stay in the hunt and then continue to make a run, and then also another big one for women's soccer as well. Women's soccer, who knows, they could turn it around and make the playoffs here. You never know. So we got them, and then we've got our last home conference volleyball weekend, our last home Friday, Saturday. So on Friday we have Ohio Valley, and then on Saturday we have Ohio Christian. So
New member of the conference. We didn't touch on that, but the River States Conference did expand by 2 schools over the summer. Ohio Valley and St. Mary's of the Woods joined us. So now we're at 4 after we lost. Asbury moved down there. So now we're at 14. And yeah, it should be a competitive year in the league. And I missed that about Thursday. Who do we have for soccer on Thursday?
Oakland City. I forgot to mention the opponent there.
Okay.
Yep.
So those are big.
Yeah, then we have 2 home games, the 21st and 23rd. 23rd against Point Park, be our senior day.
Yep.
Excellent. 23rd. So as always, check out GoMidwayEagles.com if you want to get all the times and games, and big couple weeks coming up here in the Empire as we head down to make a playoff push here in the fall. And we will, if God willing, and if Dylan turns the computer on, we will be back for another Coach's Corner to recap all of that. Watch the Twitter machine to let us know when that's going to happen. But thanks again for coming back to us, watching the corner, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Midway Coach's Corner.